It was never supposed to rain that night. The forecast had been clear, and yet by midnight the sky split open and the downpour came, hammering on the roof of the old house at the edge of town. Eleanor had come for the solitude. The real estate agent had called it a writer's dream, isolated, quiet, steeped in history. The house had stood for nearly 2 centuries, tall, narrow, its windows like eyes that had seen too much. The first thing she noticed was the smell of earth inside. Not the pleasant, fresh kind, but a damp, suffocating scent that clung to her clothes. The wallpaper peeled like old skin. Every room had its own sound, a slow, patient creak, as though something inside the walls was breathing. On her third night, Eleanor found a box in the attic. Old cassette tapes, neatly labeled with dates. April 14th, 1973, May 2nd, 1973, June 9th, 1973. Curiosity overcame unease. She dusted off an old tape player from a trunk and pressed play. A man's voice crackled through the static. Calm, clinical. Day 27. She's awake again. I hear her walking at night. Eleanor frowned. The tape continued. She doesn't speak anymore, only hums. The same tune, over and over. When the tape ended, the house felt colder. The silence pressed on her like a weight. She laughed nervously at herself. It's just old recordings, she thought, until she heard it. A faint humming, somewhere downstairs. By the next morning, she was certain someone was in the house. Footprints appeared in the dust of the hall, too small to be hers. When she stood before the long mirror in the upstairs hallway, her reflection lagged, a fraction of a second too slow, and for the briefest instant, she saw another woman there, staring back with hollow eyes. The humming grew louder each night. She found herself waking at 3:07 a.m., always that exact time, to see the hallway lights flicker, to hear soft knocking behind the walls. Then one night she found a new tape, one she didn't remember seeing before. It wasn't labeled. When she pressed play, it was her own voice. Day 1. I arrived today. The house feels alive. I think it remembers. She froze. Day 3. I found the tapes. Something's wrong with the mirror. The voice trembled, desperate. Day 6. She's in the walls now. She's not me. The tape ended in static, and then, faintly, over the noise, Eleanor, her name, whispered from the recorder. The mirror across the room rippled like water. No one has seen Eleanor since. The real estate listing has gone back up. The historic home, ideal for creative retreats, comes with original furnishings. The description now includes one more line, added recently by an anonymous reviewer. Do not stay past the 3rd night. The house remembers. It was never supposed to rain that night. The forecast had been clear, and yet by midnight the sky split open and the downpour came, hammering on the roof of the old house at the edge of town. Eleanor had come for the solitude. The agent had called it a writer's dream, quiet, isolated, filled with history. The house had stood for nearly 2 centuries, tall, narrow, its windows like eyes that had seen too much. The moment Eleanor stepped inside, she felt the air shift. The smell of earth was strong, damp, and stale, as if the house itself had been holding its breath for years. The wallpaper peeled like dead skin. The floorboards groaned beneath her steps. Each room had its own heartbeat, slow, patient creaks, like something alive inside the walls. At night she swore she could hear faint whispering under the rain, as though the house was murmuring in its sleep. On her 3rd night, she discovered a dusty box in the attic. Inside, a stack of old cassette tapes, neatly labeled April 14th, 1973, May 2nd, 1973, June 9th, 1973. Curiosity outweighed caution. She found a tape player in a trunk and pressed play. A man's voice crackled through static, calm, detached. Day 27. She's awake again. I hear her walking at night. Eleanor froze. The voice continued. She doesn't speak anymore, only hums. The same tune, over and over. The tape clicked off, leaving a silence that felt heavier than before. That night, as wind pressed against the windows, she heard it, soft humming, rising from the floor below. The same tune. She tried to laugh it off, but the sound grew clearer, moving slowly through the rooms. Her pulse quickened. Someone was there. Morning brought no peace. Tiny footprints trailed across the dusty hallway, small, bare, leading nowhere. The mirror at the end of the hall seemed dimmer somehow, its surface faintly rippling when she passed. Her reflection blinked half a second too late. Each night after, the humming returned. At exactly 3:07 a.m., the lights flickered and the walls thumped, like something trapped inside wanted out. Eleanor stopped sleeping. Shadows gathered where light should have been. She began hearing her own name whispered in the dark. One stormy night, she found a new tape, unmarked. The label was blank, but her hands trembled as she pressed play. It was her own voice. Day 1. I arrived today. The house feels alive. A pause. Day 3. Something's wrong with the mirror. The recording stuttered. Day 6. She's in the walls now. She's not me. Static filled the air. Then a whisper cut through. Eleanor. The mirror behind her rippled like water. A faint handprint appeared on the inside of the glass, pressing outward. No one saw Eleanor again. Weeks later, the house was listed for sale once more. Historic home, ideal for creative retreats. But now, at the very bottom of the listing, a new line had been added by an unknown reviewer. Do not stay past the 3rd night. The house remembers. And when the next tenant moved in, locals said the lights in the attic began to flicker again. Late at night, if you listen closely near the old oak trees, you can still hear it, a soft humming carried by the wind, echoing from the house that never sleeps.